is October 12th. It is a lighthearted and fun time for celebration. It's a tongue-in-cheek reference to the famous Aleister Crowley's birthday. Aleister Crowley is, of course, a famous and also controversial prophet of Thelema. And the central sacred holy text is the Book of the Law. Now, within this book, it lays out a bunch of different holidays or holy days, but one you won't find there is Crowleymas. Why is that? So, the Book of the Law lays out a bunch of different holidays or holy days to be celebrated throughout the year. This is comparable to what some people might be aware of, the Wiccan or pagan Wheel of the Year. Now, we don't have a Thelemic Wheel of the Year, but we do have a lot of different observances. One of them actually is not Crowleymas, and so therefore it's not an official holiday. Aleister Crowley was born October 12th, 1875. Of course, Aleister Crowley celebrated his birthday on October 12th, much like anyone else, but he placed a particular importance on the anniversary of his initiation into the Golden Dawn, which he observed every year as his magical birthday. So, of course, in this modern day and age, a lot of occultists, as well as Thelemites and other types of practitioners, will celebrate their actual biological birthday, but also their magical birthday. And a magical birthday can be any number of things. It can be a particularly meaningful initiation, or it can be when you started your path or practice, when you started your personal practice. And of course, as you go along through initiations, you may choose a different type of initiation as your magical birthday. So that's very personal, but also very interesting about Crowley himself. So, how exactly does one celebrate Crowleymas? When it comes to celebrating, you have a lot of different options and ideas, and hopefully this will give you some inspiration. Of course, when we talk about Thelemic holy days or holidays, the first thing I always talk about, or often talk about, is the feasts. Having a feast with friends and family and loved ones is a great way to celebrate. It's very Thelemic and it just runs with the current really well. Something in particular you might want to think about for this particular occasion is making for your feast one of Aleister Crowley's recipes. It would be really cool to sort of tie into the past and think about Aleister Crowley some more by making one of his specific dishes. You can find a lot of the things he made in his diaries. And there's, of course the internet, you can look these up, but the downside of pulling one of Aleister Crowley's recipes from his diary is, although he adds, pretty explicitly he has the ingredients listed out, he doesn't have the specific amounts of each ingredient. So it would be really useful for you if you have a background in cooking or could Google, more about that recipe to find out more about it, to actually try to figure out a sensible quantity of each ingredient to make the dish. So there's a tip for you there. Additionally, if you're in a group, or heck, even if you're just alone, you could read some of Aleister Crowley's poetry, and everyone in the group could pick out a poem that really resonates with them, or just something they want to share with the group, and that would be such a cool way to bring the group together and have that additional tie into history. It is a fun holiday, it is a tongue-in-cheek sort of thing, but there's nothing wrong with also taking the opportunity to tie into history a little bit more as well. And of course, since it is such a lighthearted time, have lots of drink and dance and just have fun. Find something that you enjoy doing and do it. What better opportunity than Crowleymas? Just to share some personal thoughts about how I feel about Crowleymas. Of course, I do view Aleister Crowley as having a few outdated and problematic opinions and views. I don't worship him as a, godlike entity. Of course, he was the megaphone for divinity that channeled through him, and I celebrate the divinity and Thelema and all of these beautiful channel texts like the Book of the Law, but ultimately I do view him as a complicated figure, a problematic figure at times. But that being said, Crowleymas is a funny, tongue-in-cheek sort of thing. It's a play on Christmas, of course, and I think it's fun to have an excuse to get together with people and celebrate, your religion and your beliefs or your philosophy, whatever you engage with, and for me, Crowleymas isn't about necessarily all about Aleister Crowley. It's about our community and our religion and what brings us together. So I think, you can find fault with him as a person while still finding joy in a lot of these thelemic celebrations, because ultimately a beautiful part of being part of a community or having spirituality and religion in your life is that community. So I will definitely be celebrating Crowleymas this year and many years to come, and I hope a lot of this spreads the joy and you find something useful out of it. It would be an absolute joy for me to learn if you celebrate Crowleymas or other thelemic holidays and how you do. Do you do anything special? As always, thank you so much for watching, and if you would be so inclined, it would be great for you to like and subscribe. As always, I am the center of expression for the primal will to good, and so are you.